Oke guys, kita mulai aja ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, today's presentation is about assessing speaking. So, let me share screen. Wait. Bentar ya, nunggu. Did you guys can see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
All right. So today's material is assessing speaking. So we are from group 7. We consist of me, Nurul Atika, and my friend Sifany and LELY. So yeah, the first presentation will be explained by Sifany. Sifany, this is your time.
All right, thanks for the chance given.
I'm sorry, but your voice is kurang keras.
Hello, can you hear my voice, guys?
Yeah, yes, udah.
Is it loud? No.
Ya, udah.
All right, thank you. Okay, well, for the first material is about assessing speaking. So before I explain you so far about speaking, let me ask you first, have you ever heard about speaking? I think you have, right? So speaking is the action of conveying information or expressing one's thoughts and feelings in spoken language. And why does speaking assessment important? Because it is used to determine the extent to which learners are able to speak. Therefore, the assessment of speaking skill is emphasized in the practice of speaking. To find out the success of speaking learning, an assessment is needed. So assessing speaking has its own purpose or goal, that is helping students perform competently in spoken language. Next. So here, how can we persuade them? How can we persuade them to do it? For the first is spoken language. Well, in spoken language, there are 3 kinds of keyword. For the first is not keyword, but key how to improve your spoken language well. For the first is spoken English grammar. This will involve helping them to understand how spoken English functions and giving them opportunities to acquire conversational strategies. Spoken English grammar, spoken English which has a grammar marks it out as different from its written equivalent. For example, like instead of asking a full grammatical question such as we are oftenly saying that it's not like would you like some coffee, but we often say coffee. This leaves it as a common feature of speech. So for the second is conversational strategies. Many speakers of a foreign language suddenly find themselves unable to find the word they need to carry on the conversation. So in this part, the spoken language also has its way to be more like improving their skill at conversational strategies. And the last is successful conversation doesn't just depend on good speakers. Well, the interaction between speakers and listeners is what makes it work well. In conversation, being a good listener, having good listener skill is very important. Then as being able to talk. To be good listener, students need to show that they are paying attention and helping the conversational forward. They can do with the body movement, eye contact, and short phrase such as you are responding to the person who are speaking in front of you, like me and my friends who are presenting here. So like, for example, in class, okay, but for example, in like Zoom meeting, you cannot be as very free to respond the speakers. For example, like yes, really, I see, yes, I see, etc. And then the second is student and speaking. So it needs the teacher have to persuade or force the student to speak like confidently in front of the class by having such a presentation, or yes, presentation like we are doing now. And then the next is speaking repetition. Well, for the speaking repetition, the teacher usually told the student to speak in front of the giving a text, and then the teacher will tell the student to speak in front of the friends by reading or repeating repeating the words that are still missing. And then the last is speaking activity. This speaking activity types that will be spent more by my friend. Next. Hello guys. Next please.
Yang ini bukan, masih next ya. Ini.
All right. Yes, I have already thought that. Next. For the second, I haven't explained you about reluctant student. Well, for the first is making students feel relaxed. Well, making students feel relaxed because students do sometimes feel anxious about speaking. We will do our best to create a relaxing environment when we ask them to speak. So it is important, guys. And then the second is matching level and text, one of the reason. Perhaps the students become nervous and reluctant is that we sometimes ask them to do more than they are capable of. It is especially important with speaking activities to set tasks at a level that the students are comfortable with. So if you are becoming a teacher, you have to be able to divide a student who are able in Hello. Guys, hello.
Yes, we hear your voice.
Oh, sorry. Well, for the next is using pair work and group work. We frequently conduct question and answer speaking activities with the whole of class. This can be quite intimidating for some learners and tends to favor the more confident students. That is why using pair work and group work is so important. And then the last is preparation. We sometimes seek to expect our students to speak fluently with no warning, but this can be difficult for those who are nervous or need time to gather with their thoughts. This was certainly true that has been stated by David Wilson, 2005, trying to use German while living in Australia. For example, he was about to go in the restaurant. For example, you are going to a restaurant, and then you find it was much better in your spend, like you spend some time outside in the restaurant reading the menu and then researching what you are going to say to the server. And the next is including fluency activities. Despite that of making our students feel more relaxed activities in every lesson, and gradually start to feel more confident about speaking. And then adopting appropriate teacher roles. Well, it is very important that we take on when our students are
Hello, Sifany. We cannot hear your voice clearly. I'm sorry. Fanny, are you with us? Seems like Fanny has internet problems, so I will explain my material. All right, so there is an item, types, and task for assessing speaking. Based on the Douglas Brown book, there are 5 basic types of item types and tasks for assessing speaking. Number 1 is imitative speaking task. Number 2 is intensive speaking task. 3, responsive speaking task. Number 4, interactive speaking task. And the last is extensive speaking task. So I will explain one by one. Wait. All right. So number 1 is imitative speaking task. So it is a speaking performance in which students are expected to parrot back or imitate the word, the sentence, the phrase, not for the purpose of meaningful interaction, but for focusing on some particular language properties like pronunciation. This point is focusing on pronunciation. So this type of speaking, known as drills, or in Indonesian we call latihan. It is offers students an opportunity to listen and orally repeat and reproduce some string of language. So number 1, there is 3 examples here. Number 1 is minimal pair repetition. It is the word that has the same pronunciation, like, for example, we as a teacher pronounce the 2 words that has the same pronunciation, like flag and fight. and then these and niece, arrive and alive. So, and they need to speak the same word like the teacher said. So number 2 is word or phrase repetition. So it is the teacher needs to pronounce some word or phrase, and the student needs to imitate it, like language. So the student needs to pay attention to the teacher phrase or teacher movement mouth, like language. Not maybe that some student mispronunciation about the word, like they usually say language or language or kind of something like that. So we need as a teacher we need to like membenarkan, like correct them, like language, it is language, kayak gitu. Number 3 is sentence repetition. It is same with the point 2, but sentence is a more like complex, more longer. Or the teacher needs to be more creative, like they need to display a scene from film or YouTube video. So they ask them to like imitate the dialogue or kind of something like that. The next is intensive speaking test. So we have a few types in here. So basically, intensive speaking test is producing a limited amount of language in a highly controlled context or activity. Its main purpose is to allow learner to practice some phonological and grammatical aspect of language. So number 1 is targeted response. For example, like respon langsung ya. Tell me, for example, like tell me that you are not interested in tennis. So the teacher need to ask them, tell me that you are not interested in tennis. So student have to answer this question, like I'm not interested in tennis because blah blah blah, like that. Read aloud, membaca nyaring. Like this is usually we as a teacher need to ask them to read a text in the book or newspaper or yeah, kind of something like that. This is a purpose for pronunciation or fluency. Number 3 is oral sentence completion. Number 4 is oral close procedure. So the differentiation between oral sentence completion and oral close procedure is oral close procedure. I think it's more like specific, it's more particular than oral sentence completion. In oral sentence completion, we just ask them, oh, yesterday so the student need to continue it by in terserah mereka, pokoknya mereka mau jawab apa, pokoknya kemarin aku, yesterday I blah blah blah. But in oral close procedure it is more specific, like there's a place particularly or time maybe, yeah, kind of something like that. And dialogue completion, it's melengkapi dialogue. So the teacher may be asked, may I help you? So student need to answer, it is no, either yes, like yeah, you have no. A picture create elicitation of a grammatical item, like comparative. So maybe comparative, but the teacher needs to provide two pictures with a different like object. Maybe wait a minute. Maybe the object it is the picture 1 is sofa, the picture 2 is like a chair. So the student needs to explain what to, wait a minute, running out. Oh my god, zoomnya mau habis nih kayaknya. So let's see. Tadi comparative. So the two objects like sofa and chair. So the student need to speak what the difference is between the chair and the sofa. The last but not least, the translation into the second language. Ini kayak translate into the Indonesian. It is either word, phrase, or sentence. So the next is responsive speaking task. Picture create elicitation of response or description. And ini contohnya di sini kalian bisa lihat. Nah, so the student need to ordering the tell what the picture explain. That is like this, as the 7, the children wake up and then like kind of something like that. So the next is map cute elicitation of direction. It's like the someone who want to know how do I get the post advice, how to go to the school, kind of something like that. It's like showing the direction. Question and answer open-ended. And this one is, we as a teacher, we have to evaluate their speaking skill by using this Q&A. Like, how do you like this better? It is good or bad? Kind of something like that. And then question elicitation. So ask them about the hobbies or their interests and how they like them. The next is elicitation of instruction. So it's like a procedure text, but the student need to like speak directly. Like what's the recipe for lasagna? How to operate this thing, kind of something like that. So the last is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is like a short narrative or a phone message, like they need to paraphrase what the speaker say. The next is interactive speaking. So the difference between responsive and interactive speaking is in the length and complexity of the interaction, which sometimes include multiple exchanges or multiple participants. So there's a 4 example for interactive speaking tasks. Number 1 is discussion and conversation. We all know that discussion is the most impactful aspect in the speaking task. Like we used to do it in the class. Oral interview, like just we can ask them about anything. Role playing, like we can bermain peran, like maybe based on the film or the reality or kind of something like that. Number 4 is games. We can use speaking tests by the game. The next is extensive speaking test. Number 1 is oral presentation. Now, this one is the example. Presentation is the one example for extensive speaking test, just for academic or professional context. I'm sorry. Number 2, picture cute. This one is similar with what I have explained before. Number 3 is storytelling, or retelling a story or news event. So the student needs to tell the story about anything, like maybe their daily activities, the short story, or kind of something like that. The 4th is translation into the second language, like the short story or news article. Okay, icebreaking time. Fanny, are you with us? Okay, no. All right, so guys, are you excited? Please don't sleep.
Oh, we're not sleeping. Okay, go on.
Okay, okay. Oh my God, nggak kelihatan ya? Oh, kelihatan kok. So this one is like, wait a minute. Ini contohnya ya, bentar-bentar. So you guys, you need to guess the meaning of the word puzzle that will be placed on your screen within 10 seconds. Contoh, bentar. Did you guys get the point? Gimana ya jelasinnya? Basically, this is the idea of funding, but she doesn't come. Oh my God. A minute. Where is Fanny? Oh my God, I didn't know what the actual, wait a minute. Let me invite Fanny. Fanny, are you with us? Fanny. Hello, Fanny.
Hi.
Hey, can you explain the game, please? Like this ice breaking?
So that so the ice breaking is jadi ini tuh kayak apa ya, kalian tuh lihat word-nya gitu ya. Lihat, halo.
Iya, ya
Lihat
udah.
word-nya. Habis itu kalian tuh tebak gitu. Kan coba. Nah, guess the meaning of the word puzzles that will flash on your screen within 10 seconds. Jadi tuh kalian tebak. Jadi word ini kan ada, misalnya ada dua word, biasanya ada dua word gitu. Ada yang ke bawah, ada yang ke samping. Jadi kalian tebak yang ke bawah itu, yang ke samping ataupun yang ke bawah itu salah satu dari word itu ada yang ini, ada yang gak tertulis gitu loh, gak tahu nampak. Jadi kalian yang nebak.
Oke, kita coba ya.
Itu belum bisa. Is that?
Hi guys, you can answer this. Contoh ya.
So what is that?
Forgotten hero. So we have a forgot here. So and then we have 10 hero if you count this.
Forgotten hero.
Yeah. Can you guys get the point? Oh my God. I'm afraid that you don't understand. Honey, where are you? Oh my God. Okay, let's start, guys. Okay. Nah,
Ini udah bukan?
ini tadi udah ya. Nomor 1 jawabannya forgotten hero, because we have 4 got di sini and 10 here. So the next is
Forgot and then here.
once upon a time. The answer is once upon a time. Okay, can you guys can answer this one? Okay, the answer is singing soon. Soon, I know. Okay, the answer is ice cream. Okay. Langsung saja ya, selesai untuk mempersingkat waktu. So let's move to the next material. That will be explained by my friend Lely. Lely, are you with us?
Yes.
Yes, please explain. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Next to evaluating and scoring speaking text. Speaking is a social skill, and it is not so easy to evaluate it. And then this is important that an evaluation should occur in a natural situation where there is a spontaneous flow of speech. So the evaluation of oral production performance can get quite complicated. First, you need to be clear in specifying the level of language you are target. One or more of at least 6 possible criteria may be your target. Thus, it is clear that evaluation of speaking consists of the evaluation of pronunciation, intonation, and stress. Next, there are 6 kinds of criteria for evaluating speaking text. Yang pertama itu ada pronunciation, fluency, vocabulary, grammar, some discourse feature or cohesion, sociolinguistic appropriateness, etc. The last text, accomplishing the objective of the text. Enough for me.
Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys, that's all from my group, my presentation. So if you guys have a question, raise your hand. And yeah, thank you for listening. Any question? If not, please give us any advice, critics, or maybe appreciation for this presentation. Because it meaningful for us. Any question?
Yang jawab, guys. Halo, halo. Halo. Halo guys, kalian kemana?
Udah finish aja, arek-arek paling tidur.
Astagfirullahaladzim.
All right. All right, so gak ada ya, nothing. If there is something that you didn't understand, please chat with us in the group or personal. So yeah, thank you for listening. If there's some mistakes or problem, please forgive us because we're all human being. Like we do mistakes sometimes. So yeah, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi
Thank you.
wabarakatuh.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yoi. Have a good week.
Thank